Welcome to this video. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome back. If you have, I'm just gonna go for it. And as we stand in line, many of us are recognizing we no longer wish to stand in line. We no longer wish to stand in the same line. We no longer wish to stand behind someone else. Many of us are feeling the urge to step up as leaders, while others are feeling the urge to step back into the cave, hibernation. As we allow whatever stage of development we are honing in on, coming home to efficiently sit within our beingness, we allow ourselves to see from a broader perspective. We are recognizing that the line of expansion is no longer a straight line. There is no longer one way or the highway. There is only the highway, the network, the expansiveness of all that is. For those of you who are jack of all trades, master of none, we seek to bring you into a new reunion as one, as the mastery, the masters of one, from one, jacking into all trades, lining into all things, in alignment with many lines. So you guys, I'm seeing the telephone lines, the television jack, the telephone jack. So this isn't just reference to a telephone line that we're conduiting into, that we're essentially creating a unification with. It's hearing, seeing, all of these telecommunications. As we link into these portals of expression, as we link into these guys, I'm seeing a lot. Ports of expansion. Portia, ur. Lots of plays on words here. I'm seeing mushrooms. Yes, mushrooms of expansion. But I'm seeing porcini mushrooms. So if you think of a mushroom and the network, the fungal network, that's kind of what they're referring to. And they're calling it portals. So this is a play on words, guys. This isn't necessarily literal, although if that's your thing. What they're showing me is we're linking up through this network, this fungal network, this fun G-all, this fun G, G-force, G-foreseeing. I should write all this. I'm going to have to write this out. And you will recognize when you step back, when you step out of line, when you, they're basically showing us not being sheep, right? Get out of line and look at the line and see where it's headed to. Recognize that it may not be leading us where we want to go. And recognize that as we do that, the lights come on. And many people are still in that tunnel vision. And they're showing me people waiting for handouts. So there's a lot of people that are still waiting for someone else to give them what they want, or to give them what they think they need, rather than stepping out of line and connecting back into the one network of source that then allows us to link up to all of our lines, lineages. And this is a play on words of wisdom, lines of ages, lines of wisdom. For in these pre-established ways, routes, wires of communication within your own body, within your own technology, And they're showing me to own that technology. It's not outside of us. It's not someone that we are giving over and saying, do this for me. It's us, it's on us. We then stop feeding into this false lineage, this false, so this is a big play on words. They're showing me false wisdom, where they're saying this is when it happened, this is how it happened, this is where you're from. That's not real. That's one perception based on another timeline from one perspective. As we step up, as we step out, stepping out with my baby, as we expand our senses, we reunify with our home base. And I keep hearing, what is that song? I'll Be There Where the Heart Is, from Flashdance. Yes, I forgot about that movie. Not that I'm suggesting that that's a great movie or anything. It's really not PC, but it's about going back home to where the heart is. I'm hearing that ET call home, ET phone home. I've had that referenced a few times lately. Recognizing that we have that. Remember in the movie E.T., if you haven't seen it, it's a classic. That one I will recommend watching. He takes his finger and he touches it and it lights up. We are that system. We are that technology. We are attuning to our brothers and sisters, our family, our lineages, our wisdom within us, because we are the tuning fork. So I've had references to up the ante. I did a post on Instagram with this in it. It was a big play on words. So we could go to so many different directions here. Part of it is the trees, the ants, I think from Lord of the Rings. It's a reference to the rings, calling, ringing home. It's a reference to the rings of the trees, the true age of what we are, ringing through the ages. It's a timestamp. It's a reference to the sound going through the fungal network that we are creating, like the network that's beneath the forest floors. It's a reference to our cells of communication. Much has been stored beneath the earth. I'm seeing storage units are being unlocked, treasures found that we're reconnecting with. And they keep coming back to, there was this old system where we felt like we had to stay in line, do what you're told. This is the way things are. This is how you behave at this age. This is what you're supposed to do. You can't be a child anymore. This is what, you're supposed to get up in the morning, have coffee, read the newspaper, watch the morning show, go do your day job, clock in, clock out. And they're just showing me, not only in general, that that's all changing. And the more we can just kind of be in that present moment, we'll start to recognize where we're falling in line. And where, if we start to feel that discomfort, it's in part because we know it isn't lining up, lots of references to lines, with who we really are and what it is that we're supposed to be doing. So this is leading me into the other message. Well, I'll come back to that in just a minute. As we plug into the epicenter of the heart, as we plug in and we reunite with certain feelings that we didn't really even remember were possible. So this is part of that extrasensory ability. So channeling is normal. Guys, I just want to share that. But we're being invited, instead of trying to connect with a particular archangel or trying to connect with the particular ascended master, recognize that we are already connected through our lineage to those portals, to that information, and we can just, by plugging into source directly, it's basically cut out the middleman. We're already jacked in to the home motherboard. So while we have our guides and our beautiful angelics that are here to assist us, our galactic brothers and sisters, this lines back in with using our discernment to recognize who we really want to stay in line with. Because again, if we're looking for a savior, if we're looking with our hand out, waiting for someone to give us what we want, we're going to keep putting that hand out over and over again, and it's going to be the next thing and the next person and the next guru and this and this and that. Whereas the more we can connect through our heart, through our crown, down into the earth, that gives us that ability to be more of a... They're showing it to me, but I can't... it's where it's like a permanent jack, like it's there. You can't get rid of it. So that's part of what they're kind of showing as far as that goes. Recognizing that this allows us essentially to travel, because they're showing me it's like lightning. So we're connecting in, and we're like lightning rods, and we're connecting like that Tesla coil to all these variations of ourself. But if we're here, we know and we can trust. And this was a message that was coming through also, which was believing in ourselves. Just believing that the messages and what we're being guided to do is right. If we're here, we know that's our discernment. If we're not, and we're just up here and we're constantly focused on what everybody else is doing, where everybody else is plugged into, well, where did they get that information? Well, how come, so on and so forth. It's a distraction. It's great to use as a tool from time to time, but again, recognize we still have to plug into our own source. That is our... they're showing me an operator on like a dirt mover or like a caterpillar, and there's a play on words on this. So those big, my brain's a little mushy, guys, apologies. Dirt movers, the big claw, Caterpillar makes them, John Deere, I guess. What they're showing is that we're operating that. We're choosing where to dig. But they're showing people literally that's even a machine. Our bodies are that caterpillar. Our bodies are the butterfly. Our bodies are the cocoon. Our bodies are connected to all of that. And so again, it's not about all of this other stuff, this technology. It's tapping into this technology to help us operate all of the other technology from here, which helps us to not then get in line with something that really isn't taking us where we should be going. Then, once we can see from that broader perspective, we'll have a better capability of trust, of knowingness, and of, well, of course, discernment, but they're showing me believing. So many people are getting information, they're seeing things, they're feeling things, and they don't believe it because they forgot that they had this capability, or they're in line waiting for somebody to tell them, I believe in you. And I really feel strongly that one of the biggest messages that's coming through is we have to believe in ourselves. Stop looking outside of ourselves for somebody else to believe in us. Because and they're showing me the story of, like, you know, those fake gurus that are out there and all these people believe in them? It's because that fake guru was so convincing, they probably believed they were a guru. Then all these people invested their time, invested their money, invested their energy in falling in alignment with these teachings that are one way. And then there's these stories where they come out and they go, just kidding, we're not really a guru. Or stories come out and it's recognized that that person wasn't in the heart. They were maybe lined up with perhaps energies that were not of the highest and greatest good for everybody. They were self-service, they were servicing themselves, or they were serving as service to self, group, belief system, architecture, entity, frequency, wherever you want to go with that, in a seemingly innocent way. But that's where, if we get in touch with our own technology, which is our body, and plug into our eternal jack, source, conduit, all of that will become more obvious. We'll shake our heads and go, this doesn't feel right. Maybe they have something good to share, but they're not the only way. Or maybe they have something good to share, but there's something that seems off about them. You'll feel it, you'll know. And that's what a bunch of people are starting to in the collective, and it's confusing to a lot of people. And that's where the Lightworkers and the Starseeds are here to help one another connect to that eternal source, the eternal flame. They're also showing me a labyrinth. So on a labyrinth, it's at all of this, you get to the center, but there's many different ways that you can go to get to that center. None of them are wrong because they all lead to the center. So again, it's about you can be a jack of all trades, jacking into all of these energies and frequencies that are fully aligned with source. It'll lead you where you need to go, into your own self-mastery, into being the ascended master. This goes in line with energy healers as well. There's a lot of energy healing modalities out there, and there's more and more that are opening up. The biggest message that comes through about all of them is, how do they feel? And are we looking to them to be the savior or the hero? Are they trying to empower us to show us that we are perfectly capable of doing this as well? And we don't have to plug into a certain ascended master in order to master that information, because we are the ascended masters, perhaps basically embodied. So we're already connected to these beings. Why do we need to go through those beings in order to get to source? We don't. Now granted, they can share with us beautiful information and we might have a beautiful connection with these beautiful beings of light, but that doesn't mean that we have to side route and go through them in order to plug in. We could work together if that being, person, place, or thing is in 100% unity consciousness, love, light, service to source, right? But in general, connected directly into the best for all, not just the best for one particular line of communication or frequency, right? Bandwidth. So for those of you who have fallen out of line, they're sharing like fallen out of sorts, are unable to sort out who your friends are, unable to sort out why you've arrived, where you have arrived. Be aware that the more coherent you are, be aware that the more you take in the air that surrounds you with gratitude, breathing, the more you let go of these old lines of energy, and they're showing me clearing those lines and not airing our dirty laundry, right? Not airing, complaining, letting go of that and rising to the true. They're showing me air, like H-E-I-R, that we are, of sovereignty, standing in our own sovereignty and oneness, will allow us to see, to reveal through the sea of heresy, so they're playing all on the words here, and hierarchies that are no longer stable. They're no longer, they're air. Like they're showing me that it's just air, it's fluff. So when we come into our own sovereignty and we recognize that we don't need to wait for somebody else, that we're doing it. It's been done. It's been brought. We brought it. We're bringers of the new, whatever you want to call it. It is up to us to lay down the tracks, to be the little engine that could, to essentially pull through, thread through the lighter activities. And they're showing me like the heart activities. They're showing me the engine, the locomotion. They're showing me reference to that song, Four Non-Blondes. This is pulling through from another post that I did. What's going on? Four Non-Blondes. There's an artist that does the painting on the front of their album cover. And it has a lot of double meanings or surrealism. So they're kind of sharing this. You guys, this is how spirit communicates too sometimes. It's not like it's just across the board, this is how it is. It isn't just one straight line. It's like pictures and images and symbols and layers within layers within layers, because it is a multi-layer, multi-level consciousness that we exist within. So this surrealism, it's going to feel surreal, doesn't it, right? For a lot of us, it's like, is that real? Did that really just happen? Yes. Or you'll see something and you'll go, that's not real. And the magical things will be what's really real. So I'm going to end on that note, guys. There's so many beautiful things going on right now, and I have so much more to share, but have fun sharing the love, spreading the love, doing what you came here to do, and being the light keepers, the gatekeepers, the activators, right? The star seeds. And all of this seems surreal because it's not what we're used to being in. We're not used to being in, we're used to standing in line. Not all of us. Some of us have always been awake. Some of us have always been out of line. But now it's more and more prevalent. And for those that aren't used to it, we're here to help it make it a little bit easier for them as well. And to anchor these energies and realize that it's okay not to know. The more present we are, we don't have to just have this one knowledge, other than the fact that we're all connected. And plug back into our true roots. Connect with Mother Earth Gaia. Get our feet on the ground, because we are the ground crew. We are here to bring in this energy and to anchor it and to assist with all of this, but also to have fun and be in joy. Because as soon as we come into coherence, and as soon as we come into bliss, and as soon as we come into alignment with love and gratitude, we're no longer in alignment with things that don't line up with that. All of a sudden, all of that other stuff is uncomfortable or becomes very obvious. And that allows us to lay our tracks, so to speak. And it's a little bit like, energetically speaking, of course, right? We're allowing ourselves to set our energetic roots and to branch out and to spread that energy of 0 point, right? Of compassionate witness, of appreciation, joy. In love and light, you guys. Thank you so much. Namaste.